Any
Okay.
other, thank you, Chacho. Any other comments or reactions to the commercial?
Sir, nag-choppy sa akin yung video.
Ah, okay, okay. Pero nasakyan mo yung nangyayari. He's having a job interview.
Parang nagkakaroon siya, sir, ng nadidistract siya doon sa mantya.
Sino po ang nadidistract?
Yung nag interview.
Okay. So, ang concept nito, it's very clever. Nagsasalita yung stain. But obviously, in real life, di naman nagsasalita yung mancha sa shirt ng interviewee. Okay, interviewee. But it is, like Mark pointed out, it is really distracting. Especially it's a white shirt. So kitang-kita talaga yung stain. And the solution, the practical solution, according to the ad, is to use Tide to Go. Okay, so we're going to leave the video and we're going to go back to the PowerPoint presentation. One moment. Okay. So guys, can you see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. All right. Thank you. Okay. So actually, konti na lang. Dalawa o tatlong slides na lang. Then we're done for today. Maikli lang kasi yung topic today. Okay. So, yeah, maikli nga talaga. Summary na tayo. So let's go over what we've learned about positioning. So first, positioning a product or service will help us to appeal to the needs of a specific group. Okay. And by doing that, it can set our product or our service or our brand or the client's product. It can set it apart from the competitors. And we know that there's so many different products out there that are competing for the same consumers. But if we are able to position, actually, first thing, if we're able to choose the correct segment, and then if among all those segments, we choose the one that's the best match for the client. And then once we have our segment, for example, the new rich or the news explorer segment for msnbc.com, for example, then it's a matter now of positioning the product. Okay, how can we best appeal to the needs of that segment that we chose from the segmentation earlier on in the process? Okay, then the second item, Ate Don, could you read please the second item?
SS plus K identified a target segment it called the News Explorer as the best prospect for its client.
Okay. So what is this News Explorer? So dumanda sila sa segmenting, targeting, and positioning. And in the end, they decided the best market would be that what we'll call or what we will label the News Explorer. Paano ba yung News Explorer na yon? Mark, could you read the next one, please?
The typical user is a news junkie who enjoys the thrill of hunting for new information and who wants to dive into the information rather than just scan it. The agency will proceed to develop a brand message that emphasizes now how MSNBC.com delivers what news explorers want.
Okay. So, ang definition nila ng News Explorer, para siyang news junkie. You know, they enjoy the thrill of going through multiple articles. They don't mind diving into a lot of information and finding the information they need. Parang yun ang kaligayahan nila, yung mga news consumers na yun. They enjoy the thrill. Okay, and therefore, since they selected and defined through targeting and segmenting the News Explorer, now they have to deliver a brand message that best serves the News Explorers. Okay, and let's recap everything else that we've talked about so far. So we mentioned STP, the STP process, segmenting, targeting, and positioning. Okay, so it's the framework that the ad agency uses to understand information about the customers, the who, the where, and the what. Who are the customers? Where do they live? What they want. And these are based on the characteristics of the market segments. So you can group them by demographic, you can group them geographically, You can group them by lifestyle, or you can group them by behavior. And an example for that is, are they heavy users of the product or service, or light users of the product or service or the brand? Okay, so after you segment, then you go to T, which is targeting. You choose the best segment, and then you position your brand to best serve the needs, or to best appeal to the needs of that selected or targeted segment. And I think, okay, next one. So what makes a good market target? We talked about this a few meetings back. The qualities of a good market target is there should be a measurable means to see whether they're a good match for the advertising campaign. They have to be accessible. They have to be reachable. They have, if you're going to use television, they have to have television sets, obviously. A good target market, or a good market target, sorry, is profitable because, of course, the client wants to boost sales for their product or service. And they have to be distinguishable. That's why it's very important to segment the market correctly so that you can distinguish one segment clearly from another. Okay, then we've got behavioral targeting. And we talked about this, I think, in the last meeting. In behavioral targeting, it's all about the internet. You visit certain websites, and there are cookies. If you remember, we talked about cookies. And these cookies help the advertiser to show the correct ads based on the previous websites, or relevant ads based on the previous websites that you've seen. The ethical dilemma here is that to a certain extent, we give up our privacy, or our privacy, if you want to speak with a British accent, your privacy, if we are giving consent to behavioral targeting. So often when we visit the website, it's going to ask you, do you accept the cookies or not? And they tell you something like, the cookies are necessary so that you can get the best performance from the website's features. And sometimes that's true. In many cases, actually. For example, it helps the website to remember our login information for that session. And then when we close the browser, if it's a well-designed website, then our login information is still safe. Okay. But generally, the main purpose, or the more usual function of cookies, is to keep track of where you've been online, and even where you're going to next. So it remembers stuff about your online activity. Okay, and the last thing in the slide is positioning. So again, it is an advertising strategy, it is a brand strategy, and it enables us to decide how to position a brand or a service to differentiate it from all the products or services out there of our competitors. So the main point is, kailangan mag-stand out yung product or service sa advertising campaign versus all the other products and services or brands that are out there.